Good evening and welcome to our Wednesday, June 17th, Arts and Culture Commission meeting. We're delighted to have you with us. At this time, we'll have our welcome and our roll call.
Commissioner Smith?
Here.
Commissioner Dusky?
Here.
Chairperson Gibson?
Here.
Vice Chairperson Berry?
Here.
This time, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of our agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. At this time, we'll approve our minutes for our April 15th work-study meeting, as well as our April 15th regular meeting minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of April 15th work-study meeting minutes, as well as the April 15th regular meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. We're delighted to have a guest artist with us this evening, and at this time, Commissioner Berry will do the introduction.
Hi. I'm pleased to announce that Willem D. Vanderheyden is with us today. He is currently showing in our library in the display area, and you also show work at that new gallery in the Gateway Mall, right? Please come up to the podium, Willem, and share with us what you do these days.
You need to be.
There's a microphone up here.
This side? Okay. I try to use my time wisely and stay creative. And I have this great opportunity now where I have time at my hands and enough wherewithal to buy wood and whatever I might need to pursue my interest. And I want to thank everybody here for having me this evening. A little disappointed that more of the public didn't show up. Most of them don't realize how much effort most of these organizations put into this, and I thank each and every one of you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. And I have a few notes prepared.
Okay.
Certainly.
I was thinking earlier today that life is not always about you as an individual. It is about everybody around you. Hence, you ladies giving your time to make this work. And I feel kind of selfish spending 10 or 15 minutes up here talking about my own endeavors. So I thought, how do I involve other people, and what inspires me? And what inspires me are other artists. And it doesn't matter if they're writers or musicians, authors, people of the stage and the screen. Some of the art I'm more drawn to than others, but I'll listen to something really great, whether it's contemporary or classical music, and I'll think, you magnificent SOB, how did you come up with that? Where did that creative force come from, you know? And it doesn't matter if it's music or film or literature. The most important tool that I have in my workshop is my stereo. And I'm sure if you call the police department in Chino, they'll probably get a few complaints. Who's the guy blasting all that music? And it goes from everywhere, from classical to jazz. You get in the mood and things just start to flow.
Jason, would you like to hold up some of the stuff that he's talking about?
All the classical stuff. I'm European by descent. I came to the United States when I was 11. Born and raised in Holland. Assimilated into society, learned to speak, went to school. Put my 4 years in the military, and after I got back from Vietnam, they ingratiated me with a chance to become a citizen. Life's been good for me, but this indicates, I think, my European heritage. don't know how to read or play music, but it's always been a source of great inspiration. And everybody knows, you may not know anything about a car, about the engine, the transmission, but when you get into a vehicle and you slam the door, you know you're sitting in quality, or you know you're sitting in a piece of junk. And I think that's how most people interpret art. There's 8 billion people in the world, so there's 8 billion different interpretations of what everybody likes. Art is a mean mistress. Artist needs help. Everything in this world, this building, that insignia, is all artist inspired. The clothes we wear are artist inspired. And they get so little recognition for how they've moved the world forward. Art touches our lives every day. And yet most artists I know are saying, you know, there's 31 days this month, and I only have enough money for 27 of them, but they keep doing it. The joke is, what does an artist do if he hits the state lottery for $12 billion? He keeps doing this stuff till he's completely broke. It's that driving force, whether they're writers or musicians. This is a journey. I never took up woodworking in school. One of 8 kids from a European family, and you learn very quickly, if you want something, you have to go out and earn your salt that day. So it wasn't until later in life that I had the opportunity to say, what the heck, there's money left over, the house is paid for, the colleges, the weddings are paid for, that you can start pursuing some of your own interests. And it's been an interesting journey, and things are changing as we speak. I got into welding that I'm really getting excited about, and this is piece 1. It's Jerome.
Oh my gosh.
Pass that along, and I looked at that, and I thought, no, I can do better. I think artists, like every craftsman, need to listen. They need to improve their craftsmanship and keep moving forward, irregardless of what you do in life, whether you're a doctor or an artist. So I did a second one that I just finished, and I don't know if you ladies been to Jerome, where you see the old truck in the wall parked into the garage. I've even incorporated that. And
he can zero in on this.
you know, I don't know what I'm going to do next or where it's going to lead me.
You picked the hottest time of the year to start welding.
It's okay. I believe a little salt water does everybody good, whether you're sailing, swimming, or perspiring. I think it's good for the system.
Yeah,
But
there you got it.
A nice image.
if I would like for anything to come out of this little presentation, I would say support the arts in whatever fashion you can. And certainly you folks here put your money where your mouth is, and you give up your time and effort. I think the world would be a better place if there was a little bit more artwork around. Okay, stay original.
You want
Listen.
Jason to hold up the other one?
Sure.
Willem, what type of wood is this?
You know, it's some of this, believe it or not, it's various woods that I buy, alder, mahogany, and there's a lot of stuff in here.
Yes.
Somebody dropped off an upright piano in my driveway figuring I could use the wood, and I probably made 4 or 5 different art pieces out of it.
Nice.
And I don't paint my wood. I don't stain it.
Thank you.
I let the natural wood come out by just putting clear polyurethane on it. Everything I used to do was framed and square. And then I thought, well, let's step out of the box and let it have a free-floating form. The next step would be, I was wandering the flea market, and I'll see people discarding old flutes and clarinets. I think the contrast of color is good, which leads to, hey, if I'm using brass and glass, why not do something like that? Now, this piece is called Adagio. Again, it has a classical reference. Not to offend anybody, but this piece here is called Pain in the Glass. And about once every 2 months,
Thank you, Jason.
I'll jump in my pick-em-up truck, and I have a list of about 16, 18 different thrift stores, and I'll just go scrounging for all forms of pieces of brass and metal that I find interesting, and you'll know it when you see it. That's neat. I can use that. So you bring it home and you just start working with it. I'm in desperate need of somebody to buy some of this stuff because my house is overflowing, even with the stuff here and in the gallery. But I don't do it for the money. I don't think most artists do it for the money. It is. I think sometimes it may border on autism. They just get up. There's mornings when I'm up at 4:30, and I'm still in my pajamas, and I'll be welding in the shop, and my dog will say, "Come on, take me out for a walk." And then by 10 o'clock, I figure I better get out of my pajamas, get some of this sawdust off, get some more coffee. A lot of times, that's how the day goes. Basically, that's how I got here. I just had the opportunity. I think this is inside everybody. One of the things that disturbs me, people will look at a piece of artwork and say, "Oh, I could never do that." You don't know unless you try. You just try. I don't have blueprints laid out. You just look at the stuff you have and you start working with it. And I encourage everybody to do that. Picasso said every kid born is an artist if we let them. Listen. Don't listen to criticism because everybody sees it different. Something like this thrills me. A little anecdote. I had some stuff in the old PFAA, and this young lady in her early 30s looked at one of my more traditional music pieces, and she said, "You know what that does for me?" Which is, to me, is the ultimate compliment. It's not, "Boy, that's fantastic, that's well done." No, how does it affect you? And she said when she was a young girl, her parents would make her study violin lessons. And she said, "I hated it. I'd come home from school and I'd have to practice 45 minutes every day. And as soon as I was done with school, I put the violin away and I never picked it up since." She said she went to the art show. She saw these violin-shaped pieces that I did, and she said it inspired her to go home, pick up the music instrument, and she said, "I fell in love with it now." So to me, that's the ultimate in compliment. It's not about the money. It's about everybody around us and what it does for everybody. And I think that's important. I may assume, and I may assume wrongly, that all of you ladies participate in the arts in some form or another.
I don't, and that's one reason that I am part of this group, because I appreciate it so much.
Well, just lie to me and say yes. But whatever your pursuit is, believe in what you're doing. We artists are their own worst critics, whether they're writers or musicians. Stick with it, listen, And never mind the naysayers and the people that you should have done this and you ought to do that. I have any of you ladies been to the gallery at the mall recently and seen some of my work? I try not to be too overbearing, but I did one piece, it's Amazing Grace. And there's a window cut into these music pieces, and there's the Christ eyes looking through the window. You only see this much of his face, and there's tears coming down. I found this pure redwood from Africa, and you see his crown of thorns, and to me it represents Christ looking into the world for all the sad things that are going on today. And a gentleman looked at that, and he was really offended by it. I didn't make that to offend anybody. The adrenaline of youth has run out of my system. Had this been 35 years ago, I would have said, well, let's you and I go outside and settle this. But that's not in me anymore. So I just listened to him. And when he was all done spouting off, I just said to him, well, I got you to think about it, and that's my job. Just look at it. And I like my life where I'm at now. I had a website. I let it expire. I never sold anything on the website. It was time-consuming. I got rid of my landline phone. I got rid of cable TV. I'm no longer on the internet. What's more important to me now is to use the only non-renewable resource, and that's my time. I have a limited resource on that. I can watch television later on and listen to all the bad news. I need to work, and it almost borders on obsessive compulsive sometimes. And I'll have to put a crowbar underneath my own keister to say, you got to get out of the shop today, go for a drive, take the dog, go over to Cottonwood, get a hot dog and some Chinese food, and then, I think a lot of artists are like that. They're dedicated to their cause. Marketing is difficult. They're frustrated. They get frustrated. And I'm reminded of that interview of Stephen King, the writer. He wrote many manuscripts and submitted it, got rejected and rejected. And then he sold his first short story, and they paid him like $1,100. Both he and his wife, they had a couple children then, and they were washing dishes and working as a waitress, and they were so happy, he said, I would go out and buy a vacuum cleaner. Like he's really arrived. I bought a vacuum. Stick with it. It'll pay off. I think if you believe in something, even what you're doing here now, it will pay off.
Thank
Good
you
at
so
something.
much. I'm so glad that you came. That was very nice of you to share.
Well, I thank you for having me. And on an ending note, there is no limit on how much of my stuff you ladies want to buy today, whether it's in here or at the gallery. And
Thank you very much. That work
I
is
thank you,
gorgeous.
ladies.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
How do folks reach you if they want to buy something? Hello?
Well,
How do folks reach you if they desire to buy something?
I am in the gallery. I do have cards. And I'll tell you what. Anybody that wants to come out of my house, the door's always open. Coffee pot's always on. I've always got iced tea in the refrigerator.
that's okay.
And
Don't
my
worry
dog
about
will
that.
welcome you. And we can sit around and lie to each other about how good we're doing. Boy, I'm on a roll here. Can we get maintenance in here?
They're just temporary, just for a while.
I thank you, ladies.
So someone could reach you at this phone number.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the phone number is 928-830-7633. Mr. Vander Hayden is in Chino Valley. Thank you. It's beautiful.
And also, he's showing in the library right
Yes.
here, so you could call Parks and Rec
Yes.
and get his name and number and inquire about any of the pieces that are there.
Just to, you've seen some of the work out there. I've made most of the furniture that's in my house, and I'm not a furniture person. One of the pieces that I'm proudest of, I made a big slot machine. That's my clothes hamper. But I would like for you ladies to look at this piece. This is 12 feet high, 6 feet wide.
Wow.
It's at a performance music hall in Ohio. And those kind of chances come along once in a lifetime.
Oh, my goodness.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again for coming and sharing with us. We really appreciate it. Jason Elmer, if you want to come and talk about Movie Under the Stars and also the director's report.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me tonight, Commissioners. I will recap last Thursday night, June 11th. It was a beautiful evening. We had about 400 participants come out for the Princess Bride movie. I think the highlight of the night for me was a gentleman from Boston approached me at the end of the night. There was only myself and the gentleman that runs the movie projector, and he just wanted to tell me how much he really enjoyed this, how this would have never happened back in Boston, and how he had moved his family out, after last year's movie run, and he'd been telling them all along that he couldn't wait for them to see this because they put on this movie in the park. And he said it was just awesome. And I said, well, we got another one next week. And he goes, no, really? And I said, yeah, we got a couple more. We'll be back. I said, that's what I want to hear, and look at our website because we do a whole lot more for our community, and you should really get involved. So I can't tell you enough good things about Movies Under the Stars right now. This week will be the Star Wars, the Clone Wars. Give you a little background on this as a Star Wars fanatic. This takes place between what would be episode 2 and 3, giving you a little bit more depth into the story. If you've ever wanted that, I suggest you show up. And Thursday, the 25th, Mr. Whitty will be presenting Grease, and that'll be sponsored by the Prescott Valley Ace Hardware, and I know he's very excited to be there that night for that one. Please talk to him about that. Director's Report, April and May 2015. The Parks and Recreation Department held 2 large events during that time frame. The biggest one on my mind would come on May 16th, which was our Battle of the Bands. This was our 18th annual Battle of the Bands. And what made this one special was we needed to improvise and adapt this year. We had a lot of rainfall in the days leading up to the event, causing us to make a very difficult decision. Do we cancel the event? Do we relocate the event? Or do we move forward with the event and possibly damage all of the turf and infrastructure there at the amphitheater? I arrived at 6:15 that morning, and it was very evident that we were not going to have the event at the amphitheater, so we had to move everything to the parking lot adjacent to the pool. In about the course of 3 hours, what staff was there was able to get everything set up. All the bands came, had no issues. All the radio stations moved, no issues. And again, we received many compliments and thanks from a lot of people who were just happy. They've been there every year. And they said, we're so thankful you didn't cancel the event. And we understand that it couldn't be down there on the grass, because if we had tried to drive the stage on the warning tracks, the individuals that bring the stage said it would have taken a tow truck to remove their truck and the stage at the end of the night. So we did have a slightly smaller crowd than usual, but we still had a crowd, and we still had a great time. And Little Larry and the Drive from 106.7 won this year, and that was the first time that 106.7 has ever won, so they were super excited. Of course, I think they want it in the parking lot every year now for superstition purposes, but that's not going to happen. Also, we had Arbor Day, and we had Coyote Springs Elementary School come out, and attend that. We read The Giving Tree. Got me right here, but it was a good book. We put, I believe, 4 or 5 trees in the ground that day, served all of the kids lunch, and again, we beat the clock. We literally got them their sapling trees, their lunch, and got the trees in the ground and beat the downpour by about 5 minutes, got them back to their classrooms. So the teachers were thankful, we were thankful, and the kids really enjoyed the lunch, and they worked very hard to put the trees in the ground. Is there any questions in regards to the director's report? I don't want to bore you with all the details of the months, but I just thought I'd cover a couple highlights.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I will sit back down now and get out of the way.
Thank you. I'd just like to take this opportunity to mention that you just had an opportunity to enjoy the art of Mr. Vanderheyden, and we invite you to come out and join us and share with us your craft, your passion. We certainly be glad to have you, and if you'd like to do that, please give us a call at 928-759-3090. In addition, another word about our movie Under the Stars. Our concessions are done by the young ladies from Mingus Mountain Academy, so we invite you to also take advantage of the concessions that the girls have every Thursday evening. We also invite you to come out and join us in the library auditorium for our monthly meetings. We'd be glad to have you. At this time, we're going to move on to our old business and Theater on the Green. Commissioner Smith.
Yes. July 3rd, big event at the new Theater on the Green. We're inviting everyone to come out at 6 o'clock in the evening and enjoy the entertainment that will be presented by Circus Bacchus, followed by the band Five in the Wheel. It's a festive evening, a way to launch into the 4th of July. So come out on the 3rd and join us. Judith, do you have anything additional you'd like to add to this?
We have food and drinks and
Yes.
all kinds of fun stuff to do while you're there. So I'm excited.
It'll be be a wonderful evening. Circus Bacchus will keep you entertained for quite some time with their amazing feats and treats.
Thank you. We'll move on to our Art at the Center reception and art walk. Commissioner Dusky.
The following week, on Saturday, July the 11th, from 10 to 12, we are going to be having Art at the Center reception. It's an annual event that normally has been in May, but we have changed it this year to be in July, and we're going to induct, I guess, one of our pieces, Sunfish, that has been here for a number of years, but Sunfish is going to have a new surrounds in the public library. So we are going to be introducing the new art that's going to be surrounding Sunfish, as well as a new piece that's going to be donated to our permanent collection. From 10 to 11, we're going to have the reception with a light brunch, introduce you to some of the artists, and then from 11 to 12, we will be having our art walk, which is our first annual art walk, walking through the grounds at the library and the Civic Center to introduce you personally to some of our pieces of art. Some of our artists will be there to tell you a little bit about their work, and it should be a fun couple of hours on a Saturday morning. So I hope everybody comes out. Again, it's going to be in the Crystal Room at the library for the reception from 10 to 11, and then we're going to have a walk through the grounds from 11 to 12. Hope to see you there.
Is the Crystal Room on the third floor? Third
Yes.
floor of the library.
And we'll have an update on our studio tour from Commissioner Berry.
The Civic Center has applied, or the Art and Culture Commissioners have applied to be part of the Mountain Artists Guild art tour in October, and we were accepted, and we have got 12 different artists using the Civic Center as a studio, and we invite you to come out and see what they're doing that weekend of October 2nd through the 4th, all day long. we'll be on the map, and we'll be on the tour, and we'll be in the brochure, and we're really excited about doing it. So we've got different artists using different media. We've got painters, and we've got somebody working in clay and some people working in wood, and we're pretty excited. Jewelry makers, watercolors, oil painters, except for we can't have oil, so they're using acrylic, but
It's okay.
yeah, that'll be really nice. We'll be on the third floor, I think. I think all of us are going to fit on the third floor that weekend, so we're pretty excited. There'll be more to come on that as time gets closer.
Awesome. Thank you. Now for our new business, we're moving to our 15-16 meeting calendar. I'll accept a motion to accept the calendar as discussed in our work study meeting earlier this evening.
I make a motion that we accept the fiscal year 15 through 16 meeting calendar as presented.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, so moved. Thank you, ladies. And now for our election of officers. If I could get a nomination for our president for the incoming year.
I'd like to nominate Judith Berry for the office of chairman of the commission.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so moved. Vice Chair,
I would like to nominate Helen Dickerson as vice chair for the commission.
second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so moved.
I'd like to move that Nancy Smith become our secretary.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so moved. Wonderful. So our officers for the incoming year, Judith Berry will be serving as our chairperson, Helen Dickerson as our vice chairperson, and Nancy Smith as our secretary. Congratulations, ladies.
I'd like to thank Frankie Gibson for her service as her chairperson for the last 2 years, and to Judith Berry for being vice chair this last year. Your service is certainly appreciated. Thank you.
I second that.
Quite welcome. Do we have anyone that would like to make any further comments, any concerns that we haven't addressed? Nope. Okay, if not, I will announce that our next work study meeting will be on Wednesday, August 19th, right here in the auditorium at 5:30, followed by a regular meeting at 6:30 p.m. And I would like to say it's been a pleasure to serve these last 2 years, and I am happily handing the reins to the very capable Judith Berry. So thank you, good night, and we'll see you in August.